Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this chapter is entitled Genealogical Table of Daughters of Manu. So Swayambhu Manu's descendants are described here through her daughters. So we have been hearing till now the daughter by name Devahuti, very famous daughter, who was married to Kardama Muni. And Kardama Muni had Lord Kapila as the son, who renounced everything immediately after he enlightened his mother Devahuti. And 9 daughters were there, and those daughters' lineage has been described in the different verses which we saw. So after that he concludes, Maitreya Rishi has been describing this, he concludes, "My dear Vidura, the population of the universe thus was increased by the descendants of these sages and the daughters of Kardama." So we know that daughters of Kardama were handed over to great sages, 9 great sages, and that was being described. Anyone who hears the description of this dynasty with faith will be relieved from all sinful reactions, because anything in connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, He, His devotees, His paraphernalia, anything in connection with the Supreme Lord is purifying. There is no difference. Just like Prabhupada explains in Bhagavad Gita in one of his lectures, why we are supposed to read all these different names, Chekitan and Ashwathama, all these personalities. What do they have to do with Krishna consciousness? So Prabhupada explains, there is no difference between Krishna and things related to the Supreme Lord. There is no difference. So we become purified. So all these are in connection. Mahabharata is important not because of the different histories of different kings there. It is important because the center is Lord Krishna. That is why it is important. So anything related with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it has value. Anything which is disconnected to the Supreme Lord has no value. So Prabhupada explains, thousands of zeros have no value, but you put one before them, everything gains value. This material energy is very entangling. It has no value. Actually, it binds the living entity. But the same material energy, it regains its spiritual nature if it is engaged in the service of the Lord. That is what Rupa Goswami has described as Yukta Vairagya. Not that we reject. We don't reject, because everything belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is there to reject? We reject its usage for our sense enjoyment. And when it is reutilized in the service of the Lord, it regains. Nothing is material. It is material as long as we use it for sense gratification. The moment we utilize everything in the service of the Lord, it regains its spiritual qualities. This is important to understand. So we should not be dismayed that what is this we have to read? Daughters of Manu, Prasuti, Akuti, all these different daughters and their descendants. Why we have to read all these things? We may be wondering, isn't it? Why not directly deal with Krishna's pastimes? And then we are seeing here, now it is being described about universal form of the Lord. Why we have to read? Because see, until and unless we understand energies of Krishna, we will think Krishna to be an ordinary personality like any one of us. That is how materialistic people, Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Avajananti mama mudha manushim tanumashrita param bhavam ajananta. They cannot understand the superior nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They think that He has also descended in a human form. Actually, it is a human-like form. It is not a human form. Rather, based on His original form, all other forms are created. Human form is created based on His form. That is what it is said even in Bible. Man is created in the image of God. Isn't it? But mudhas, they fail to understand. They cannot understand Him. So, this universal form is also described here. And varieties of this material existence is being described here. By studying all these things, we can understand the nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in totality. This is very important. It's like in today's conversation, it's very interesting. Prabhupada is saying they are fools. They think God cannot be understood. It is not like that. When God Himself is explaining, how can you say God cannot be understood? I'll read this portion, very interesting. Okay. You do not know practically, you must be also a man of knowledge. Otherwise, you cannot say, you cannot be falsely saying, yes, I know. You must know. Then you say. But if you think that you do not know, do not say foolishly like that. Then you will be slapped. You must know also. So how do you know? The next question will be, how do you know everything? Saswarupa. It's not that I am great, but it's the authority of my spiritual master and the Shastras. Prabhupada, yes. Krishna is great. So I am talking of what Krishna has said. Therefore, I am great. I am knowing everything. It is not that I know everything. I do not know anything. But I am surrendered to a person who knows everything. Therefore, I know everything. I take my knowledge from Him. So you should think how much knowledge you have assimilated. The knowledge is there. Guru, Krishna. Guru is there. Krishna is there. So we have to take advantage of Guru and Krishna. Sadharma Pracha. Ask him and become man of knowledge. Then you can say, if you simply think, I have my Guru, there is Krishna, now I am perfect. No. You should ask and know. You must be man of knowledge. So we have to read. We have to inquire. All these things are very important. Isn't it? Then we can become man of knowledge. So, two very important things Prabhupada is saying. How do we know everything? Prabhupada is saying we know nothing in one sense actually. We know everything because we take our knowledge from Krishna. And Krishna knows everything. But then we have to also study what Krishna says. Then you can say, I am a man of knowledge. Then you can say, I know everything. Simply because Krishna is there, my spiritual master is there, I know everything. That is not the idea. Prabhupada is saying, you cannot say, you will be slapped if you simply say, I know everything. You must be a man of knowledge in reality. And it's not very difficult to become man of knowledge. Prabhupada is saying, just read Bhagavad Gita. Then you are a man of knowledge. You know everything. Understand Bhagavad Gita properly. Then you can say, I am a man of knowledge. So one cannot say that God cannot be understood. For foolish people, God cannot be understood. But otherwise, if one understands in parampara, God can be understood in parampara. Yes. And therefore you can say, if you simply think that I have my Guru, there is Krishna, now I am perfect. No. You should ask and know. You must be man of knowledge. Then you can say, yes, I know everything. Diksha See, we find misinterpretation of Diksha. So much misinterpretation. Actually, they have become so degraded nowadays, they are misinterpreting even our Guru Parampara. You see, if you see, now they have started saying our Guru Parampara is a Shiksha Parampara. It is not Diksha Parampara. You see, this is what now they are talking. Actually, if you try to understand, where transcendental knowledge is flowing, it is Shiksha, there is no doubt about it. But when the transcendental knowledge is flowing in that parampara, it is called Diksha, Divya Gyan. There are two very important aspects, Divya Gyan and Shipati. So by gaining transcendental knowledge, once all sinful reactions are vanquished by the spiritual master. So, if you read the 1970s version of Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is very clear. Prabhupada is saying, initiated, when he is talking about this parampara, where Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is speaking about in this parampara, they have retranslated it as he accepted him. So acceptance can be for Shiksha also. They have changed the word initiation. That I do not have right now the exact quotation, but Prabhupada is very clearly translating, even though there is gap. Just like Narottam Das Thakur and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, there is a gap. They are not. Narottam Das Thakur had already, gone from this world when Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur accepted him as his spiritual master. Even though, just like Prabhupada says about even in Christianity, there is no question that Guru is not there. Guru is there, represented by a clergyman, Prabhupada is saying. Some priest is there. That living priest may be there. Isn't it? So Prabhupada is saying when they are accepting Bible means there is no question that Guru is not there. And then when he is asking, no, I was talking about living Guru. Prabhupada is saying, where is the question of talking about living Guru? Guru is not this flesh and bone person. Isn't it? So all these things they have misunderstood completely. Completely misunderstood. And you can see how they change. They change the books, they change the whole idea of what Prabhupada wanted. There is no doubt that deviation was there earlier. Lineage was considered through hereditary parampara. I am from Nityananda Vamsha. Same kind of mentality is now being carried on. For which Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur specifically appeared to break this so-called bodily parampara. And he established this parampara. This was given by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. That this is real parampara. You see. So they have changed it and they are saying this is Shiksha parampara. You see. Prabhupada never called it that this is Shiksha parampara. Prabhupada called it as Guru parampara. We are all calling it as Guru parampara. Isn't it? So they are thinking Guru parampara will go by this conditioned soul. Here we are seeing Guru parampara is not done by conditioned souls. Who is one of them, you can tell? The 32, what is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, any one of them is conditioned soul? In that song, Guru Parampara song, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, in the end he is saying, they are all Nitya Siddha devotees of the Lord. So Guru Parampara is not by this conditioned souls. Where is the question? So much misunderstanding about Diksha. This is the reason when they try to become more smarter than Srila Prabhupada. Where it is in tradition. What nonsense, where it is in tradition. Where is it in tradition that Gayatri can be given by tapes? Where it is in tradition? Show me. Is there any tradition? Anywhere you can see? Gayatri mantra was given by tapes. Gayatri mantra was given to women. Is it in tradition? Isn't it? So, such kind of nonsense arguments. They have not understood till today what is parampara itself, what diksha they are giving. They have not understood. Guru Tattva itself is still they are debating and trying to understand. Nonsense. So, Prabhupada is telling, this is the meaning of diksha. See? Prabhupada is saying here. You should ask. You must be a man of knowledge. Then you can say, I know everything. Diksha, initiation, the Sanskrit word diksha means Divya Jnanam Shipayati. To ask from spiritual master with service and surrender the transcendental knowledge. The more you ask, the more a man of knowledge. Then you can challenge, yes, I know everything. So, we should not be shying away from understanding Tattva in reality. What is Diksha, what is Guru Parampara. All these things thoroughly we should know. Then we can say, yes, I am a man of knowledge. Isn't it? That is the idea. Actually, we know everything. Just like when I speak, I immediately ask reference from Bhagavad Gita. And we stop the man's argument. So if you become well conversed with the whole thing, Bhagavad Gita, then you have full knowledge. There is no need of saying, I do not know. You will become full of knowledge, man of knowledge. But you must study. Who is that man? Isn't it? So, this is very important, we can see. So, now, after this, when all these daughters of Kardama Muni were married and that was completed, so Maitreya Rishi is saying that anyone who studies this, he will become purified. And then further he starts now describing Swayambhu Manu's another daughter. So as the chapter itself is entitled, Genealogical Table of the Daughters of Manu. So different daughters of Manu. So now he starts describing about another daughter. Who is that? Another of Manu's daughter known as Prasuti married the son of Brahma named Daksha. See? So Daksha was married to Prasuti. Then I'll just read this so that we know the context of Nar Narayan Rishi about whom we are talking in today's verse. Then, so Daksha, with the help of Prasuti, how many children he got? That is described. Daksha begot 16 very beautiful daughters with lotus-like eyes in his wife Prasuti. Of these 16 daughters, 13 were given in marriage to Dharma. So 13 were given to Dharma. And one daughter was given to Agni. So 14. So 13 were given to Dharma, one was given to Agni. And then further it is described. One of the remaining two daughters was given in charity to Pitraloka, where she resides very amicably, and the other was given to Lord Shiva, that is Sati. So Daksha had 16 daughters, and this is how it is described, how they were married. Next chapter we will find Sati when she becomes offended because Daksha neglected her husband. That whole chapter will begin from there. So this is Daksha's daughter Sati, that same. So that is being described, the 16th daughter. And the other was given to Lord Shiva, who is the deliverer of sinful person from material entanglement. The names of the 13 daughters of Daksha were given to Dharma, that is described. Shraddha, Maitri, Daya, Shanti, Tushti, Pushti, Kriya, Unnati, Buddhi, Medha, Titiksha, Hri and Murti. These 13. These 13 daughters produce the following sons. And these 13 daughters, they produce these sons. Shraddha gave birth to Shubha. Maitri produced Prasada. Daya gave birth to Abhaya. Shanti gave birth to Sukha. Tushti gave birth to Muda. Pushti gave birth to Smaya. Kriya gave birth to Yoga. Unnati gave birth to Darpa. Buddhi gave birth to Artha. Medha gave birth to Smriti. Titiksha gave birth to Shema. And Hri gave birth to Parasharya Murti, a reservoir of all respectable qualities, gave birth to Sri Nar Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So then the description is given about Nar Narayana Rishi. So on the occasion of appearance of Nar Narayana, the entire world was full of joy. Everyone's mind became tranquil, and thus in all direction the air, the rivers and the mountains became pleasant. So now this is described about Nar Narayana Rishi, who appeared in one of the daughters of, in the house of one of the daughters of Daksha. So in today's verse, which we are reading, this 56th verse, all the demigods have come down and they are offering their prayers to Nar Narayana Rishi. So who is this Nar Narayana Rishi? The Supreme Personality of Godhead in his two aspects, Nara and Narayana. There is no difference. Actually, the absolute truth means, along with all his potencies, not that devoid of his potency. King, no doubt, he exists, he has his separate existence from his kingdom and from his praja. But without his praja and without his kingdom, you cannot call him as a king. This has to be understood properly. You see, king means automatically with praja and with his kingdom. This has to be understood. So praja and his kingdom is simultaneously one with king, because they cannot be separated. Without king there is no meaning of praja. Without king there is the kingdom. But at the same time there is a difference. Kingdom is not king. Praja is not king. I am also one of the praja. I cannot say I am the president. So these simultaneously oneness and difference has to be understood properly. So Nar Narayana Rishi is Supreme Personality of Godhead who appeared in two features, Nara and Narayana. Nara is the living entity and Narayana is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The same Nar Narayana Rishi is said to have later on appearing as Arjuna and Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality, original personality, but he appears through Narayana. It is just like, that should not be misunderstood, thinking that Narayana is the origin of Krishna. Just like when Narsimha appeared through the pillar, it is not that the pillar is the origin of Krishna, of Narsimha Dev. Similarly, when Varaha appeared from the nostrils of Brahma, it is not that nostril of Brahma is the origin. The Lord chose to appear from that place. So when all incarnations of the Lord appear in this material world through Narayana, Lord Krishna also appears through Narayana in that sense. It is just like the Lord has, let us say, made an arrangement. Suppose this is the main door, this is the only one door to this hall. The Lord can come through any other door also. He is omnipotent. But when He has given that all incarnations of the Supreme Lord comes through this door, through Narayana, the Supreme Adi Purusha also appears through Him in that sense. But otherwise the origin of Narayana Himself is Krishna. So just like, let us say, for example, this door is there and all of us come, and if the Prime Minister also comes through this same door, or the main king also comes through the same door, it does not mean that the door is the origin. That has to be understood. So it is an arrangement of the Lord that all the different incarnations of the Lord come through Narayana. So when the Supreme Lord also comes, Adi Purusha also comes, He also comes through Him in that sense. But otherwise, He is the origin of Narayana Himself. So as Nar Narayana Rishi, He appeared in these two aspects, as Nara, which is a living entity, and Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the main important reason of descent of Nar Narayana Rishi was to show by his own example how the living entity can become purified by tapasya. And even till today, we can see the temple of Nar Narayana Rishi in Badrinath. And his ashram is called Badrika Ashram. This is where he performed great tapasya. And we find Uddhava also later on taking shelter of Badrika Ashram. And that is one of the very sanctified place, isn't it? So that is how we can understand about Nar Narayana Rishi. So here we find in today's this purport, it's I think already time. By the time we have, maybe in my next class, I will once again take this verse and we will talk about what is spoken in this verse. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam